Ottawa Senators with a chance to move into a playoff position tonight against the San Jose Sharks at the Canadian Tire Center. Large part because of this guy. You know the numbers. 13-0-1 for the Hamburglar. Kyle Turris personifies the Sens. Makes a couple mistakes the other night against Toronto. Rebounds with 2 big goals, and they get the victory. As we say, hello, friends, and welcome to Canadian Tire Senators Hockey on TSN. James Duthie and the boys. That includes tonight former Toronto Maple Leafs coach, Anaheim Ducks, San Jose Sharks. What am I missing? Washington Capitals. Ron Wilson, 648 career victories. Oh, sorry.
Well, say my stats then.
What are they? How many goals? He had a few. Jeff O'Neill and Bob McKenzie, the hockey insider. The miracle part has pretty much already been pulled off by the Ottawa Senators. They come from 14 points back to now just 1 point back of a playoff spot. And mathematically now they actually have a better chance of making the playoffs than the Bruins with those 2 games in hand. But to make history, you have to finish it off. You have to complete the comeback. And that is the task for these last 11 games. Chris Cuthbert and Jamie McLennan, get you ready.
And James, despite this tremendous stretch by the Senators, Dave Cameron conceded today that their game has been slipping of late. Still, Jamie, they found a way in the last couple of games, even if it took an extra blast from the coach during the game on Saturday night.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. There were pockets of inconsistency within the last couple games that the Ottawa Senators have struggled with. And Coach Dave Cameron has pointed to, the lack of practice for this group. It's almost like a playoff situation. You're playing every second game, so there's not a lot of time to reinforce the details. So to James's point in the opening, the resilience of this group, they make a couple mental errors and it allows a couple goals against in real quick spans. And Dave Cameron let his team have it, visibly upset on the bench against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the team responded in fashion, how they've been doing it through this stretch. They've done a terrific job, but it's just the details of the game right now for the Ottawa Senators that have to find a way to have that more consistency in their game, and don't let those bad habits creep into your game during this terrific stretch.
Need one more win to get into 8th spot. Haven't beat the Sharks at home since 2002. James?
There have been various challenges over this run. It all really started when both the goaltenders were out and Hammond came in. And the challenges continue as you look at the lineup tonight. A couple of faces missing, Bob McKenzie.
That's right. Milan McCulloch, the most notable. He was playing on that line with Turris and Stone. They're waiting to hear exactly how long he's going to be out, but definitely not playing. Alex Chiasson moves into the right side. Stone moves over to the left side. Obviously, no Matt Pumple. He's out high ankle sprain, 4 to 6 weeks. But the fortuitous timing, the return of Zach Smith, who hasn't played in 40-plus games. He just came off a 2-game conditioning stint in Binghamton where he scored a goal. He's back in the lineup, and so is Colin Greening. They're going to count on Smith, Greening, and an accelerated role for Chiasson to try and compensate for the loss of those 2 forwards who've both been playing so well.
Hammond keeps winning, and he's the folk hero in Ottawa, but it's been different the last couple of wins, you think?
Definitely. He hasn't been nearly as sharp, and some goals are going in that in the previous 10 games or so didn't go in. So he's had a lot of offensive support that have enabled him to continue on his streak, but I have a funny feeling tonight that reality may come home to the Ottawa Senators, and I kind of feel that the Sharks are due for a win.
6 points out of a playoff spot, and desperate the San Jose Sharks are right now. A lot of people will point to Hammond as the turning point, but if you go further back, was it when Mathot came back and was reunited with Karlsson?
Yeah, Mark Mathot battled a series of injuries this year, and he's now paired with Erik Karlsson, and they're developing awesome chemistry out there. You have some grit and size. Mark Mathot, 6'3", 215 pounds, physical player. Sometimes skill with another skilled defenseman doesn't work, but if you have a foundation back there, a guy that just gets the puck to the skilled guy, he's physical in the corners, it works. Seabrook and Keith, if you look at that pairing, Brent Seabrook, he's always back there. He kind of holds down the fort, and Duncan Keith's allowed to roam around the ice and be creative, so it's working right now for these guys.
Sends 25, 13, and 6 under Dave Cameron, who's with Brent Wallace.
Dave, for the first time since November 21st, you guys have a chance to take a playoff spot tonight. What is the mood like for this team going in?
Well, I think it's pretty good. I think it's a realization that they've put into work and they're getting rewarded for it now. But I think at the same time, it's a realization that we're not inside the top 8 yet, and it's a challenge here tonight.
One thing is your team has played very well of late, but you've talked about lately maybe some bad habits creeping into your game. What don't you like about the way your team has played lately?
Well, your game is going to slip when you don't practice, and our schedule hasn't allowed us to practice, so our game's slipping a little bit, and it's just a detail part of it. You can't keep it if you don't practice.
What is it that you've liked about the way this club has played? And a lot has been made about the way Marc Methot has come back into the lineups, maybe settling things down. Is his return a key to the way this team has played?
Anytime you add an NHL defenseman with 400-plus games, it's going to allow you to slot the other D in probably the spots where they give you the best chance to win, and he's been a part of it. The other thing is that the other 19 guys have put the work in.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Pretty much every sign and pun in Ottawa these days involves a burger of some sort. It's the Shark Burger tonight. They hope they can take a chunk out of San Jose and move into a playoff position. Drop of the puck right after this.
Canadian Tire Senators Hockey on TSN is brought to you by Bell. Hockey just got better. By Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Ottawa Senators. And by Scotiabank. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
It's been 116 days since the Senators were in the top 8 in the Eastern Conference. Ottawa can move ahead of Boston into 8th place tonight with a win over the San Jose Sharks. Our starting goaltenders are brought to you by Scotiabank. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank. Antti Niemi makes his 9th consecutive start, 6-2 in his last 8 on the road. And Andrew Hammond once again in goal, has recorded 8 consecutive victories, and that's sparkling goals against average in his 14 starts in the NHL. Well, they've whipped this city into a frenzy. Can they keep it going tonight? The roll in March that has seen them go 9-1-1, and Jamie, some fresh troops in the lineup.
Well, Zach Smith gets an opportunity to enter into the lineup because of the injuries to Pumpel and Milan Michalek. He hasn't played in 42 games, got a little taste of it in the minors for a couple games, was very sharp down there. Be inserted into the lineup to bring some energy, some physicality. We'll see how he fares early on in the game.
So no Michalek, and also Matt Pumpel out of the lineup. Zach Smith, Colin Greeting in, and Kyle Turris, the second star in the NHL last week, starting up front for Ottawa. Alex Chiasson has moved up on this line with Mark Stone up against Thornton, Pavelski, and Melker Karlsson. And there is Turris to the attack with Stone over the line. And Chiasson just a step ahead of the play offside. Our keys to the game are brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the NHL.
Well, if the Ottawa Senators, you need to tighten up defensively. We talked about it in the opening, a couple pockets in their game where their habits got a little bit looser, and you can't do that against the San Jose Sharks. The San Jose Sharks shoot off the rush. They're a puck possession team. Everything is funneled towards the net. That's how they generate scoring chances, and that's what Coach Todd McClellan preaches to his troops.
Turris beat Pavelski on the draw. Ottawa deposits it into San Jose territory. Now Pavelski will play it back out to center. Kyle Turris with 2 goal performances in each of his last 2 games, including a pair of empty net goals to solidify the wins against Boston and Toronto. Bobby Ryan comes out. Thornton reaching for it deep in Ottawa territory. Pushed ahead by Methot and neatly worked out to center. And here goes Ryan over the line. Zibanejad in! And a pass back for Karlsson. And that off his skate, negating a dangerous attack.
Chris, if you're Chiasson, you've got to find a way to put that puck towards the net there, because you've got to generate shots early on. Test Antti Niemi. He's been shaky all season long.
Well, Dave Cameron has talked about this line, has to play in straight lines and shoot more. Zibanejad, Hoffman, and Ryan on the ice, and that pass gets by Ryan as he goes to the bench on a change. Bobby Ryan, one player who admitted today that he's been affected by the lack of practice. I mean, they're not arguing with the fact that the schedule too busy to get practice time in, but he's a guy that benefits from the practice time when it is available. Now Condra plays back to the point. There's Borowiecki to Pajot. He'll send it in for Condra. Watched by Brent Burns as it comes back to Greiba. Holds the zone, flips the slot, and a dangerous shot there. Kicked out by Niemi. Back to Borowiecki. First good shot on goal by the Senators, and Niemi looked good on that. along the boards. Lazar crashed in there. Puck is loose. Matt Irwin up with it. Worked it past Hurdle and out to center. Marleau plays it inside the line, and both teams will change as all four lines now getting into the action. Chris Tierney, the former London Knight, will peel back and head to the bench on a change as the fourth lines come out. And the play is offside at the Ottawa line.
Eric Condra's going to get a terrific opportunity in front with a nice little play. Go back to the point. Greiber just puts it down towards the net. Condra bats it out of the air to himself and then fires away. And here's that 2-on-1 situation. I said it was Chiasson. It was actually Zibanejad trying to get a little bit too pretty on the play as Erik Karlsson had jumped up for support. But he's got to find a way to maybe shoot off the rush and shoot for, if he's not going to go in the net, at least a rebound on that play, especially early in the game. Coach Dave Cameron is going to talk to him about that one.
Now the puck slid out to center by Legwand. Legwand, Greening, and Smith, the fourth line, out for Ottawa as it's played back inside the Senator line, 3 minutes in. Ben Smith centers a fourth line for Todd McClellan that has John Scott back in the lineup. Along with Barclay Goodrow on the other side. Turris with a shot off a leg, and that bounces up onto the netting, and play is halted.
Here you see John Scott, as you were mentioning, Chris, inserted back into the lineup. Now it's not, it's kind of a strange situation because John Scott doesn't really bring a lot to the table other than that physicality aspect, and there's not really anybody on the Ottawa Senators that are going to drop the gloves with him. Plus he limits your fourth line because it's a situation where he can only play maybe 7 or 8 minutes. He's only averaging that right now. He's averaging just over 7 minutes a game, so you got to shorten your bench immediately.
This is the fourth game of a 7-game road trip, and it's the fourth consecutive Canadian city that the Sharks have visited. A lead feed too far for Karlsson, but he's in after first, so icing is negated. That's Turris along the boards, helping out. It'll be Stone returning it to Karlsson, and now Turris along the boards. Flipped into the corner. Chiasson will work there. He's hounded by Brendan Dillon. Good four-check shift here by the Turris line, and now flipped out to center. That's where you want to keep Joe Thornton and Joe Pavelski if you can. They head to the bench, and back is Turris to send it around. Ryan is checked back in. A centering pass doesn't reach Hoffman, and Nieto played it out. And now Logan Couture, the former Ottawa 67, over the line. Pass is cut off by Ceci. Played along the boards by Zibanejad. Now Hoffman trying to hop in. Working past Nieto. Puts on the brakes. And now throws it toward the net. That is blocked en route by Nieto, the Long Beach, California native. Hoffman gets it back at center. Here's Zibanejad. He'll take the shot this time, deflects off the glass. Mika Zibanejad without a goal in his last 8. His line mate Ryan has 1 in 9. That was the game winner against Boston, but it was a goal that bounced in off Zdeno Chara's leg. So those two top flight players for the Senators have been snake bit of late.
Well, and that's why I was pointing to Zibanejad on that 2-on-1 situation. Is shoot, defer to the shot, because when things aren't going in for you, that's where you get those favorable bounces and you put yourself in a good spot to create a chance. You got to try and finish it.
Somebody's got to start shooting. We've got 1 shot on goal in the opening 5:15 of the game. That good shot by Condra, kicked out by Niemi. There's Condra behind the net, and now Curtis Lazar, who scored a beauty on Saturday against the Maple Leafs. Guys were kidding him. That's his first real goal in the league, after the first 3 went in from about 2 feet out. Puck is stopped at the side of the net by Niemi. There's Borowiecki down the wall. Tierney up with it. He'll play it out, and a potential break here. Over the line, Vlasic with the first sharp shot on Andrew Hammond. Barclay Goodrow, the former battalion player, taken out along the boards. Borowiecki after. Goodrow there on the scene for San Jose. Now Ben Smith, the former Blackhawk, gets it back to Goodrow. Swiveled it in front. That goes off Hammond. Goodrow's got it again. To the point, and that one gets past Mirko Mueller, who has to reboot out at center. 20-year-old defenseman headmans the puck, and San Jose gets it back in the zone. Played around by Hammond. Doesn't reach Zach Smith. Mueller at the line. Goodrow along the boards, and now Ottawa up with it. Legwand unable to clear. Greiba will turn back. Goodrow in slipstream as Greiba plays it off the boards and out at center. Kick to an open wing, and now it'll be shoveled in on the backhand by Smith. Or check, that's Cody Ceci. Went in Smith, and now Carlson moves up. Bounced in front, and Greening unable to get a whack at it. Zach Smith coming off a couple of games in Binghamton on the weekend. Had an assist. There's a glove stop by Hammond on a shot by Joe Thornton. Just shy of the 7-minute mark here in the opening period. No score in Ottawa.
Head coach Dave Cameron forced to make a couple of lineup changes in tonight's game. Zach Smith, Colin Greening in as Matt Pumple and Milan McCulloch both out. Pumple is basically done for the season with a high ankle sprain. They're calling it week to week. And Milan McCulloch is suffering headaches. They're both at the game here tonight, but they're not sure exactly what's going to be the latest on McCulloch. They're going to give him a couple days and then test him again and see what the latest is on him, guys.
Tough break for Matt Pumple, who is just starting to make an impact in the lineup, and Milan McCulloch playing his best hockey of the season. So Greening and Smith will try to fill the void. Clark MacArthur did skate with the team today, feeling better and hoping that he might be available for the weekend.
That's where you need guys like Alex Chiasson to step up his play.
I mean, this guy right here, Chiasson in! Stopped by Niemi as it rolled just wide. Big chance for Chiasson here. He set up a goal against the Maple Leafs on Saturday with a pretty feed. But goals have been hard to come by. 4 in his last 47. Matt Irwin. There's Joe Thornton. 900th assist on his visit to Toronto earlier on the trip. Now Stone and Turris 2-on-1. Stone, Turris, post! He rang that right up on a great feed by Mark Stone.
What a pass by Mark Stone to create some deception. Everyone bid on the play. And Turris had a wide open net and it hit the post and out, but terrific 2-on-1 execution, just unable to find the back of the twine.
So the chances coming here in the opening 8 minutes, but no breakthrough yet. Logan Couture behind the net. That's cut off by Zibanejad. Up for Hoffman. Hoffman ahead, Wierkosh over the line. Ryan back over Hoffman. Quick shot goes wide. Laid off the boards. Now the Sharks escape. Here comes Couture. Looking to center. Moving up Wingles. And Hammond got a piece of that on Tommy Wingles. Ryan along the boards. Got it past Couture. Played beyond Vlasic out to center. Hoffman knocked it down and Zibanejad rolls it in. And that will trigger a Senator change. Approaching 9 minutes. Justin Braun to the center ice. He'll send it in. Patrick Marleau after it. Marleau has been slumping, but always dangerous against the Senators with 11 goals in 18 career games. And it's Marleau with the puck. The veteran in front, and Tierney fanned on it. Ottawa will turn it back. There's Lazar getting to the red line, chipping it in, and Pajot picks up the pursuit of the puck. Tomas Hertl along the boards. Send it to the line. Carlson can't hold it in. And here's Tierney moving in, and Carlson recovered to knock it off his stick. Hertl follows up. And Mathot will claim the puck.
That's some real good defensive play by the Ottawa Senators, especially collapsing in front of the net, in front of the house, getting underneath sticks and not allowing scoring chances.
Ben Smith just knocked into the Ottawa bench through the open door. And now we'll play it back to Brent Burns. Matt Irwin's got a big shot. He'll fire it in on Hammond. Rebound collected by Smith. He played it in behind the net. And it's an outlet pass. Went up ahead. Long shoot in by Smith. Bounced in front of the net. Legwand's got it. Smith to the front as Niemi steers it wide of the goal. Zach Smith tried to play the point, and the pass comes outside the line. Colin Greening back in. First game since March 4th. His pass at the line is redirected out.
A little play like that's got to go deep when you have Wierkosh coming across the blue line, but got an opportunity within a change to cycle that down and get everything to the front of the net.
Mentioned Joe Thornton and 900 assists. 19th on the all-time list for number 19. Next up is Bryan Trottier. He's 1 assist away from matching Trottier's total of 901. In behind the goal, there's Pavelski. Tracked by Cody Ceci. Thornton, a backhand pass, knocked down by Ceci. And he'll take over and give it to Wierkosh. Sharks change as Turris flips it in. One thing they've done, Jamie, in the opening 11 minutes plus is prevented that Thornton line from getting a good cycle. Now, Couture trying to charge in. Pop from behind, and Borowiecki will knock it back out to center.
A great work not to take a penalty on that play as Greiva tried to get body position, then got a little help from his partner in Borowiecki to negate a good scoring chance through the middle.
Let's take a look at Ben Smith getting knocked into the bench as we get a whistle on the bump by Pajot.
Kyle Turris, who's played so well in both ends, and when you're talking about 200-foot play, here he is, defensive posture, winning a physical battle here on Joe Pavelski, who's an elite scorer for the San Jose Sharks. Now gets on his horse. 2-on-1 situation is Irwin with a bad pinch, and Stone creates, as I talked about, that deception to get Burns to bite on the play, throws it across, and Turris just hits the post, but it's good work in the defensive zone that helps create an offensive chance that almost finds the back of the net.
Line's been playing so well, 8 goals in the last 6 games. Turris has 4 of them. Pajot, bad angle, wraparound try in front of Niemi, and the Sharks are able to clear it. Nice and call against San Jose after that dangerous little play by Jean-Gabriel Pajot.
Well, it's bad angle shots, but you can see the thought process here. The Senators throwing everything towards the net. Niemi plays a soft post play. He's not very square on it. Gets across, but pretty awkward play, and Pajot identifies that and tries the far side jam. Niemi ends up recovering and getting decent position on it, but it was an awkward play, and it was a good heads-up play by Pajot to put it towards the net.
Almost hurdle up with the puck. He'll flip it to Marleau. Rolling it down, and Hammond sweeps it aside out of the reach of Tierney and back out to center. 20-year-old Mirko Mueller up ahead. That pass doesn't work. Carlson plays to the left side out of the reach of Curtis Lazar. Brendan Dillon turned back. Dillon, a BC-born player who played against Andrew Hammond as a junior B player. Canadian Tire Senators Hockey on TSN is brought to you by the bold new 2015 Toyota Camry. One bold choice leads to another. Face-off outside the Shark line. San Jose, the 8th-ranked face-off team in the league. Ottawa 25th in that department. Here's Ben Smith trying to duck in front. Ceci there to cut him off. Legwand ahead. And Zach Smith up for Greening. Has to be so difficult for Smith. Injured in December in Boston, a dislocated wrist, and suddenly he's got to be up to playoff level speed here after just 2 games in the American Hockey League.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge adjustment for him, but to get your timing back, feeling the puck, that'll be the challenge for him.
There's Greening centering it on a giveaway. Carlson moves up, threw it at the net, and Brent Burns is there.
When talking about timing, players like that, when they play fourth-line roles, they just have to be physical. Finish your check, be defensive responsibility, and just make sure that you're not a liability on the ice. You see Andrew Hammond, who's had an outstanding run. What he's been able to do is, as far as winning percentage since January 14th, 964. That's a pretty good company. Carey Price kicking around in there. Ben Bishop. He's just been outstanding, as we talked about it time and time again for the Senators. And I talked to him this morning about how the body was holding up, and he said it's more about the mental game right now because it almost is playoff mode. You're playing every second day.
Saw a little Hamburglar transition there. Our thanks to artist Mark Audette. We put that together. Here's the centering pass, and with the blue paint, Hammond stretch out post to post to make sure that doesn't go in.
It's good work by Andrew Hammond to identify where the puck is. It's a little loft shot there with the redirection by Pavelski, and then he just tries to jam play. And you can see the flexibility and push by Hammond to get across. You can see Karlsson trying to jam it between the legs. And Hammond fighting to find that puck, identifies it is a wrap play, blocker down, paddle down, and he's able to find the rebound in front of him.
Hammond made 28 stops in a victory in San Jose back in February on that sweep of California that really ignited this run to challenge for a playoff spot. Hoffman right wing, Bobby Ryan returns it. A backhand flip, scores! All the way through, Zibanejad on the doorstep, and the Senators strike first.
This is great work in the defensive zone by the Ottawa Senators that helps create that 3-on-2 in the neutral zone. Zibanejad back for support, turns it over, now Hoffman kicks it wide. He's able to create an option, little backhand saucer play, and Zibanejad gets inside position on Logan Couture as it just deflects, looks like off of his knee into the net. And the Ottawa Senators have a 1-0 lead. Now it looks like it's going to go back to Toronto for verification as the refs have blown it down. But it all starts in the defensive zone by good defensive posture to help create that 3-on-2 rush. And Zibanejad, when you're struggling to score, just drive the net hard, create an option, and Ryan kicks it wide to Hoffman. Just a little backhand saucer play. It looks like it's redirected by the left leg of Zibanejad on that play, but I think that's a legal goal. I'm fine with that.
We're looking to see if there's any kicking motion that directed that puck.
It's a redirect. I think that stands as a goal.
You know, Jamie, early in the game, we saw them pass up a shot and then an easy backhand flip by Hoffman, and look what it creates.
I mean, it redirects, certainly, and I guess the question will be is if his left leg does come off the ice, and if that's deemed as a kicking motion or not.
Kevin Pollock on the headset. Graham Skilleter, the other referee in charge, and
we'll keep an eye on the left leg. To me, it looks like a redirection play. You are allowed to do that, but under the rules, if the foot comes off the ice, and maybe there is technically a kicking motion, but I don't see it there. And I'm a goaltender. I'd be fighting the other way half the time, but see what Toronto thinks.
Well, they're taking an extended look at it.
I think the biggest thing, and we were talking about earlier, Chris, that they passed up an opportunity early in the game.
Upon further review, the puck did deflect off his knee, but it is a good goal. Thank you.
Well, the fans here say you're welcome.
Yeah, you have to like how he thanks everyone for their time. But it's a good play by Zibanejad. Couture's underneath the stick, but Zibanejad gets inside position, and Senators are up 1-0.
18th of the year for Zibanejad. He has a 4-game point streak, and the message from Dave Cameron to that line was get to the net, and look what it results in. The icebreaker goal. Hoffman Ryan assist at 14:09. Hoffman had a pair of goals in the comeback win against the Sharks in San Jose when they were down 2-1 after 2 periods of play and scored 3 unanswered, including an empty netter.
Well, Chris, that's why I was so disappointed in that line not shooting on that 2-on-1 situation, because the message from Coach Dave Cameron is everything through the net, test this goaltender, and they passed up a glorious opportunity, but they get one back here later in the period.
Little positive reinforcement there. Under 5 minutes left here in the opening period. They have looked crisper, sharper, more on point here in this first period than in the areas where Dave Cameron was concerned in the last 2 games.
Yeah, they've been outstanding in front of their net, underneath sticks and having good body position. And the Sharks haven't had too many quality scoring chances in this period. Senators have outchanced them early on, even though the shots are 8-7 for the Sharks.
Smith dug it off the board. Ceci plays it back in deep, out of the reach of Lightwad, but Weirkosh steps up. Patrick Weirkosh, Lightwad, point. Here comes the shot, and that's kicked away by Niemi as Zach Smith was covering the point.
Well, that almost went in. Niemi trapped it at the last second and got the right back.
Weirkosh has a lane to the net, and he was caught off with Mueller coming off the bench as Ottawa nearly caught San Jose on a change, was able to recover. Stone at center, definitely gets it to Turris. Boy, those two work so well together. Chiasson has joined them. Now Mathot. Stone for Turris. Chiasson goes to the front. Point tracking Turris, and the puck picked off by Mueller, and out comes San Jose. And a delayed offside is called. 3 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in the first period, and Mika Zibanejad telling Mark Borowiecki how he scored the first goal of this game. Well, we mentioned the 900th assist for Joe Thornton in game against the Leafs last week on that pretty dish, which is, well, a trademark play for Jumbo Joe.
He could have had 5 assists that night. He was outstanding against the Leafs.
Our player profile brought to you by Asante, providing complete financial advice. Joe Thornton, one of 3 players not in the Hall of Fame with over 350 goals and over 900 assists. Jaromir Jagr, another. Mark Recchi, the only retired player that has that and has yet to be called to the Hall. But tremendous career and 48 assists on the season. And boy, you're in rarefied air in that company, aren't you?
Oh, he is. I mean, such a special player. And you talk about Hall of Fame. I mean, for me, it's a slam dunk of him going in there. But it's been a rough season, just some of the turmoil that's gone on with the San Jose Sharks, obviously them out of the playoff picture, and this public spat there with Doug Wilson a couple weeks ago. It hasn't been the banner year that the Sharks have wanted this season. They tried to change the roster around a little bit, which, if anything, we talked about John Scott coming into the lineup, and they didn't make a lot of upgrades in their roster. It'd be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. I would think if they don't make the playoffs, there could be some sweeping changes there.
I don't think there's much doubt that even though the C is no longer on his jersey, he's the leader of this group. Hurdle behind the net. One hand on the stick, controls. Irwin's moved up into the front of the net. That one looked like it went off Carlson wide. Now Chris Turney up with it. He centers. That's on the stick of Zibanejad. And he moves it ahead and gets to the bench on a change as Condra flips it in. Condra, Lazar, and Pajot back on the job for Ottawa. Puck kept in at the line momentarily on a good reach by Gryba. Now redirected down the ice by Goodrow. John Scott on the prowl. Around it goes, off Condra. He can't get it out, turned over by Goodrow. Ben Smith and Condra recovered, trying to atone for the giveaway. Borowiecki moving ahead. He is stopped. Scott's got it again. Goodrow goes to the front, picked up by Andrew Hammond, back to Mueller. Dangerous shot there by the big man in front, John Scott. Swipes at the puck. Working against Gryba. Now Borowiecki after it. The fourth line's had almost as much zone time for San Jose as any of their units so far in this first period.
Especially against the matchup of Pajot, Condra, and Lazar. You would think that they would maybe be able to take advantage of that situation, but it was the fourth line for the Sharks who had the zone time last year.
Thornton back out there. Puck swept to the front of the net, and Chiasson turns with it. Final minute, opening period. The shots even at 10 apiece. Mika Zibanejad has the lone goal so far. Chiasson to the point. CC across. There's Wierkosh up with it. In behind the net, gets past Stone. And Thornton with an outlet to center. Out of the reach of Carlson. Melker Carlson. Joe Pavelski looks to center. That doesn't work, but Thornton swoops in. Lost his footing, and a pass brings Justin Braun back out to center. Marc-Edouard Vlasic on the ice, honored a few days ago in Quebec City as his junior number 44 was retired by the Rampart. Marc-Edouard Vlasic, who was schooled under Patrick Roy as a junior with Quebec.
I'm talking to some people from San Jose. They've said he's had an outstanding season regardless of what's been going on with the Sharks situation. Pavelski and Vlasic have been the most consistent players.
So the first period comes to an end. As mentioned, the shots 10 apiece. Mika Zibanejad with his 18th of the year. And the Senators have a 1-0 lead as we get set to send it to Ron Wilson, Jeff O'Neill, Bob McKenzie, and your host, James Duthie.
All right, thank you, Chris. Ahead in the first intermission, when you're rolling, all body parts can snipe. The panel on this and more next. Plus, we'll look around the National Hockey League. Patrick Sharp and the Hawks trying to get closer to top spot in the Central. Your highlights forthcoming.
Back in Ottawa as we get set for the second period. 1-0 Senators after 20 minutes against the San Jose Sharks. Our first period scoring summary brought to you by Metro Ford Dealers of Ottawa. Zibanejad gets the goal after a review in Toronto. And the shots even at 10 apiece. And yet, Jamie, when we look at that opening 20 minutes, better, more tightly played defensive game by the Senators than at times in the last couple of starts.
Well, we talked in the opening about Coach Dave Cameron pressing a couple buttons in the second periods against the Toronto Maple Leafs. A little looser defensive play in that game. Well, in the first period of this game, they did a terrific job not only collapsing to the house in front of the net, but supporting the puck. It wasn't just one-on-one battles. It's getting to the puck, winning that physical battle, and helping out, helping your teammate out. And Dave Cameron preaches that you need that 5-5-5 defense. You want to always see 5 guys in the zone, making sure that you're in the right position, getting underneath sticks, and winning those physical battles. And certainly the Ottawa Senators were able to do that in the first period. We'll see if they can build on it here in the second.
Stressed that his team would have to be sharp from the neck up tonight, acknowledging that all these games and so very few practices as some bad habits seep into the tendencies.
Well, you have to think the game as much as you have to play it physically, and that's where, you know, if you're in the right position supporting, a lot of times the play will come to you, and they were able to execute that early on.
So the Senators start the second period with Turris, Stone, and Chiasson up against Thornton. Joe Pavelski had a pair of shots in the opening period, sends one wide of the net, and Erik Karlsson gets on it. Flip out to the line that was knocked down by Thornton. Now a headman pass hits Turris, and Stone takes the shot, knocked down. As it doesn't get through, a defensive play by Justin Braun, who strides out through center. He's checked at the line, turned it over. Karlsson stepped up on Braun, knocked him down, and Ryan gets it in. Turris goes to the bench, Stone still out. There's Ryan upended behind the net by Nieto. And the Sharks will move it ahead. Braun up to Couture, sending it in on Hammond. Patrick Wierkosh, who you heard topic of discussion in the first intermission. Now Zibanejad, through shot, and Hoffman sailed it high on a nice play by Mika Zibanejad. Hoffman after it again, scored his 25th of the year on Saturday night against the Maple Leafs.
Outstanding speed through the neutral zone helped create that opportunity for Hoffman, who grabbed that and threw that at the net all in one motion, and it just whistled wide over the glove.
It looks like he's been re-energized after a brief stay on the fourth line. Now Tomas Hertl is back in. Hurdle unable to get much on the pass, and Hoffman may get sprung here and got caught in his skates. And at the end of a shift, he'll have to head to the bench. Lazard checks in along with Condra and Pajot. Puck in behind the net. Center comes all the way back. Irwin with a shot. Redirect. Cameron got caught going the other way, but still made a good save on the deflected puck.
This is an outstanding save by Andrew Hammond as he reads the redirection by Patrick Marleau. Going to come back to the point. Irwin's going to take a little ice for himself, spot Marleau in that high slot for the redirection. Hammond's able to read that, push across, seal the ice, and then corral the rebound. Just a terrific play. And then you get an opportunity through the neutral zones, as they talked about Zibanejad using his speed and throwing it to Hoffman, and Hoffman just a little bit off the target.
Here's Brent Burns stepping up, shot, and that one sounded like it may have glanced off the iron. Burns gets it again, looks to center for Ben Smith, and it'll be played out by Colin Greening. Brent Burns tied for third among blue liners in points. Of course, that category is led by Erik Karlsson. Borowiecki trying to seal the wall, backed up by Zach Smith. Burns an outlet, and out at center, it's off John Scott and into the Ottawa zone. Hammond saw the Sharks changing, got it ahead in a hurry. Zach Smith goes after it. Now it's Greening finding the puck and trying to cycle it back into the corner. Nobody there for Ottawa, and Burns plays it out.
That's a good play by Andrew Hammond to advance the puck and help get that puck on the attack for the Senators.
Now Turris back in, tripped the shot, and that went about a foot wide. Chiasson on the far boards. Got past Stone, and there's Brent Burns up around the board. Still some discussion in San Jose of whether they were best served by having Burns as a defenseman or a forward, as he played last year, a power forward, often out on a line with Joe Thornton. Back to Braun, he's shot, and that's smothered by Hammond.
Well, you talk about the defenseman, whether he's a forward or a D-man. Here's Brent Burns walking right downtown. He's able to beat Hammond, but not the post as Hammond tries to track it, takes some ice for himself, but when you allow a guy like Brent Burns to walk right downtown, he's going to create something. And then it's a good heads-up play by Hammond to help exit the zone and get on the attack. And that's just a sign of a confident goaltender as he settles in more and more as he's playing every night, is knowing when to pop the puck up and help your teammates out.
Here's Ryan at center. Diagonal shoot in. Hoffman after it. Chopped away by Brendan Dillon. Puck fired back in. Zibanejad goes after it. This is the line that has scored for Ottawa here tonight. And have had some pretty good jump for the most part. 68 good flying. He'll dash in again. Nieto there defensively, picked up by Zibanejad. And he lost his footing, got caught up with Ryan. And Ryan lost his stick as he heads off. And that shot deflects up onto the netting and out of play.
Urban Attitudes from Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
We talked about the emotional outburst on the bench. He's pushed the right buttons this year as Dave Cameron has won 25 games and is the best winning percentage by a replacement coach. Ranked number 2 and in pretty good company with Ken Hitchcock and Daryl Sutter.
I would say, and Daryl Sutter replaced, they went on to win the Stanley Cup. So you're right, Chris, in good company there.
Here's Braun sending it toward the net, wide of the goal. Comes back to Vlasic. Off Braun's stick, but held inside the line. That goes high. Vlasic moves up. Hurdle with some good work, and Braun again hemming the Senators in their own zone. Borowiecki battling against Hurdle. Gryba helps him out, and he'll flip it out to center. Pajot's lost his stick, and he'll go off as we approach 5 minutes of this second period. Vlasic fanned on the first pass, and now it's deflected in, and the Sharks in the midst of a change.
Real sloppy play in the neutral zone by the San Jose Sharks as they're having a tough time putting together 2 passes in a row.
There's Greening playing it into leg one, and Zach Smith, the fourth line, newly formulated with the injuries, and Leguan pulled down at the side of the net. Play allowed to continue. Haven't had a power play for either side so far tonight. Smith along the boards, working against Burns. And now flipped by Goodrow, and he'll charge after it, but look at Karlsson get back in a hurry. He got tangled up with Goodrow and went down. Fans react. A couple of Sharks fall on each other. And it comes back to Burns. Trying to sift it through, and it went wide of the goal. Leguan back in his own zone, and he lost it. Change underway, and Dillon with the shot. Knocked down in front of backhand. Karlsson, another chance. Rolling wide. What a chance for Melker Karlsson. And he missed the target on the backhand, but pressure by the Sharks. Karlsson up with it again. Scored in 5 straight games earlier. Pavelski with a shot that goes wide. Tests the stick. Now he feeds it across. On their heels, Senators in some trouble. Pavelski shot is blocked. The thought got in the way of that. Intense pressure, though. Leguan's been trapped. Long shift here for the Senators. Finally loose, and Karlsson up ahead. And Greeny will chase it down as the rest of the Senators in the midst of a change.
Couple dangerous plays offensively by that Joe Thornton line, but again, good work by the Senators to try and push everything to the outside.
Pavelski, number 6 in goals with 35. Here's a lead feed, and it's Stone to the attack. He'll play it across. Turns in front. She's on, and it's stayed out. Loose puck, Ceci, and it's still not in. How did they miss those chances? What a stop by Niemi. And then Cody Ceci unable to beat the goaltender when he was down.
I think Vlasic got the second save, but what an outstanding play by Niemi. It's bouncing, presence of mind to reach back, and then it gets pushed out underneath him. The initial right pad offering, and then the last second getting a little bit of help from his defender, Tommy Wingels, and throws it out, and then the second opportunity. But Wingels dragging it off the goal line, and then Ceci Curlin drags that, and Vlasic gets a body on it.
Senators come close, but it remains 1-0.
Cody Ceci can't buy one here as he gets a opportunity for an open net. Nice little stop-up play. Chiasson can't bury that one-timer. Niemi gets some help from Wingels, but then Ceci is going to wire that towards the net. Here's the initial offering. Chiasson on the back door. Wingels buries it out, and then it's Cody Ceci that puts that towards the net. That hits Vlasic right there, so helping out his goaltender. Ceci comes that close to making this a 2-0 game for the Senators.
2 big chances. Chiasson's had a couple of opportunities so far tonight. Up on that line. Puck off his skate. Kyle Turris really making things happen, isn't he? Hurdle back, a chance here, and Hammond got a piece of that. On a dangerous look for Vlasic. Marc-Edouard Vlasic, a guy that doesn't get enough credit. I think we finally all got to appreciate how good he was when named to the Olympic team.
And played very well over there, too, for Team Canada.
Back comes Hurdle. Shot doesn't get through. Blocked by Borowiecki. To the line, and it does come out. Offside is called.
Andrew Hammond with another solid save for the Ottawa Senators. Puck's going to kick wide. Hurdle driving the middle of the net. And the positioning by Hammond, this actually squeaks through the body. Then Kyle Turris through the neutral zone. Nice little deception play. Over top with the puck a little around the world as he kicks it wide. That's a sign of a confident player. Kyle Turris is certainly playing at the top of his game right now, and that bodes well for everyone within the organization of the Senators.
Hoffman fell by that shot. A deflection by Tierney goes wide. Hoffman on the lip trying to stay out there as the puck slides out to center.
Trying to skate that one off. Certainly that was.
Still feeling it as he deflects a shoot-in opportunity. Wingels along the boards. Tommy Wingels 4th in the league in hits, but he has been hit by a couple of big body checks in recent games. One by Sam Carrick in Toronto, another by Alexei Yemelin on Saturday. so he gives, and he's received of late. That's Wingels after it there. May have saved the potential second goal by Ottawa in this game. Strung along the boards, dug out there by Thornton. To the point, Dillon. And that deflects up onto the screen and out of play. Hoffman has words with big Brendan Dillon.
Brendan Dillon goes to dump it in and just wires it right off the side of the leg of Mike Hoffman, who was certainly on the limp, and then they had a little verbal altercation, and Dillon handing out a couple chops, and Hoffman not backing down on the play. He's given up a lot of size. Brendan Dillon, as you talked about, Chris, he's a big character at 6'4", 225. Certainly that's not the wheelhouse physically of Mike Hoffman, who's only 6'2". Sorry, he's less than that. He's a lot smaller than that.
Different weight class.
6 feet, 185. So yeah, different weight class, but not backing down, and Dillon playing him pretty tough.
Dillon playing in his 200th NHL game tonight. Acquired from Dallas in a deal for Jason Demers. Thornton rink wide, and here's Pavelski shooting it in from center. Eric drive back. Karlsson on the forecheck. An outlet to Borowiecki, and quickly moved out by Ottawa. Borowiecki up in the rush. He'll drop it off. Pajot will swing it deep. Borowiecki's going to look for it down in the corner. Pavelski up ahead, unable to hook up with Scott, and that slides the length of the ice. An icing call against the Sharks, who were in the midst of a change.
Chris, here, you've got a real support play here by Pajot to pop it to the middle to Borowiecki, out to Condra. Now you have to be confident in your own zone and know that there is support all over the ice, and the centerman can make that play if he knows that not only there's a lane, but players are going to run their routes. And we've seen a couple times in this game that little pop play to the middle with support, and you exit the zone cleanly. It's just good structure here by the Senators, and that was something that Dave Cameron had talked about, the details of their game and them being a little bit shoddy last game, and certainly been a lot sharper in this one.
The Zibanejad goal continues to hold up as we approach the midway mark of this second period. Greening sends it down low into the side of the net for Smith, knocked away from him, and back down into the Ottawa zone. Striding after Goudreau, gonna hound Wierkosh. There's Greening up for Legwand. He'll send it deep, and the fourth line will change. Shots now 15-14 in favor of San Jose, so 5-4 in this second period. And that's an icing call against the Sharks.
Chris, you talked about Marc-Edouard Vlasic and what he's been able to do, and as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, thought process from everyone within the San Jose Sharks organization is he has been their most consistent player along with Joe Pavelski. Sometimes it goes overlooked because his work is just so strong. He's consistent, shift in and shift out, and obviously we haven't seen a lot of that consistency from the Sharks this season.
Turris won the draw, shot deflected to the side of the net. Mathot unable to hold the zone as it slipped by him. And Karlsson back in his own zone. Now one goal off the defensive goal scoring lead as countryman Oliver Ekman-Larsson got his 20th last night in an Arizona loss.
I still think that Erik Karlsson has to be in that Norris conversation. He's been outstanding, and if people are going to attribute to Marc Mathot coming back into the lineup to help stabilize him, but Karlsson, obviously we know what he brings to the table offensively, but he's been terrific defensively on a lot of nights where he's been a difference maker.
25 points in his last 24 games. Turris over the line. Shot goes wide of the net. Swung in behind, and lots of room for Vlasic to get things set up. Now in his 9th year, Vlasic for Braun, and he's turned back. Sharks finally get pointed north. Puck inside the line was knocked down by Borowiecki. Vlasic will try it again to get it deep. After it goes Thornton up against Gryba, and Thornton gets knocked down by Gryba. Both Gryba and Borowiecki in fights on Saturday night against the same player, Zach Sill.
Borowiecki not shy to have the dust-ups, but he told me this morning that because he's a middleweight, it's easy to fight up or fight down.
Dillon was playing for the redirect in front, and Carlson unable to get it to the net. Here's Tierney off the boards with a strong move. That draws a penalty, and for the first time tonight, we'll get a power play unless San Jose scores with the extra attacker. Mueller's shot is blocked, and the puck is touched by Zibanejad. So the Sharks, who have the 6th rated power play in the league, will get a man advantage here as Borowiecki heads off. Well, we mentioned it hasn't been since 2002. Well, there haven't been that many games since the last time Ottawa beat the Sharks and Ron Wilson in a game here in Ottawa.
A high-scoring affair, Chris. 9-3. Some big names kicking around, and look at Martin Prusek in net. It's a blast from the past, and look at the bucket there. Old school bucket. I don't know whose was better, Ron Wilson's hair or Martin Prusek's bucket.
Bakov started that game, was chased, and your old buddy Mika Kiprusoff came in relief. Here's Pavelski, Thornton shot, Hammond stop, rebound, score. Pavelski has his 18th power play goal, and the game is tied.
You give the 6th-ranked power play in the National Hockey League an opportunity to move the puck around, and they're going to do some damage. Comes right to the top. Marleau kicks it wide to Pavelski. A little give and go. Down low to Burns. Tries the 5-hole play. Big rebound comes off the left pad. Hammond tries to go paddle down. You see Pavelski in that high slot. Drives in. Method unable to get underneath his stick as Pavelski dives for that rebound and just chips it over the glove of Andrew Hammond. Makes a good initial offering save by Brent Burns, but no coverage through the middle, and Pavelski, as he ties up this game with 7:13 left in the second period.
Mention his 18th, that is just his first power play goal, or his second in 16 games. But it's an equalizer here. That was the one area of concern, to not give the Sharks too many opportunities on the power play, because they would make you pay. See what kind of response Ottawa provides here after the equalizer. Now Wiggles has a chance. Sent to the cross. Shot, scores! Chris Tierney, and it's 2-1 Sharks.
Defensive zone lapses, and this happens actually in the neutral zone, sorry. Offensively, you throw the puck towards the net. Now, Erik Karlsson comes across, tries to close on the play, but there's no support coming back through the middle. And that's where Tierney's able to grab this puck on the forehand and take it to the backhand. Hammond pushes across, and Tierney puts it into the open net, but Erik Karlsson takes the chance in the neutral zone, believing he has support on the back check. Back check is late to get there, and the San Jose Sharks are up 2-1. Scored 2 goals with less than a minute.
30 seconds to be exact. 2:30. Pavelski's 35th, and now Tierney with his 3rd. The former London Knight gives the Sharks the lead. That's how quickly things change. And their second period lapse where they give up a couple of goals here and have given up the lead against San Jose.
Well, Tierney scores the goal, but certainly some good work. Coach Dave Cameron not happy as he's barking at his group to stay sharp. be on pucks, be first on pucks, and that's what the San Jose Sharks can do to you. They're a fast team, like to capitalize off the rush, and 2 quick goals in 30 seconds have quieted the crowd down here in Ottawa.
Power play goal gave the Sharks some life. Now they've got the lead. Thornton centers and another chance, and a big stop there by Hammond to prevent a 2-goal San Jose lead.
Joe Thornton so strong behind the net. You can see Borowiecki trying to go stick on puck. Karlsson jumps into the middle, and Zibanejad just late to get to him. Karlsson gets a terrific one-timer, and that's a great save by Andrew Hammond. Let's remember that save to keep it 2-1 as the Senators are trying to get some life back into their game here. San Jose has really pushed the pace up in the last couple minutes.
Now Turris starts out. Pass onto the right side. Chiasson sends it in. Turris goes after it against Couture. Chiasson up with it along the boards. He'll play it back to Karlsson. Trying to get a shot through. That was knocked down. And out at center. Marleau scoops it into Ottawa ice. Pavelski from Burns and Marleau, the tying goal. Then Tierney from Wingels and Nieto. And again, the goals come 30 seconds apart. And the Sharks go from 1 down to 1 up here in the second. What was at this point in the second period Saturday, where we saw Dave Cameron at his most animated. Tonight, a different story, called over his team. It's probably a similar message, but not necessarily as emotional.
Well, you can't go back to the well, especially as recent as he had a bit of a meltdown last game. But the message was still loud and clear. Stop on pucks, be sure. And that's what he needs to do. You need to know when to get the cattle prod out and when to just massage the message across. And this one was massaged, but guaranteed that the troops heard it loud and clear as they respect their coach.
Well, they were good in the first period. They had the better of the play for probably the first 10 minutes here in the second. Remember that puck fished off the line by Wingels, the chance for Ceci. Since then, a power play goal at 2 and 30. And the Senators trying to play catch-up now. Zach Smith along the boards. Legwand and Greening close to the puck as they jam in there. Along the boards, Muthot throws it to the far corner. Karlsson ventures up. Backed up by Greening. Into the corner goes, and Karlsson remains in deep. Centering pass, and Hoffman can't pull the trigger.
It was good work by Wingels, who come off the bench and a change to get underneath Hoffman's stick before he could get that release away.
Deflected at center ice by Zibanejad, but from his side of center, that's an icing call against Ottawa.
Post or tweet your photos to hashtag SamsungSensFan, like this lucky fan did, for your chance to win fabulous prizes courtesy of Samsung.
Pavelski wins the draw. Justin Braun a shot, and that's shrugged up onto the netting by Andrew Hammond.
Zach Smith down the wall. Puck goes to him, he chips it in, and Brent Burns, a big house, coming across with a big hip check on Smith. Heads up play, and you're looking at getting your timing back and your release and all the little things that come with getting back into the groove of playing. And certainly you can't practice those types of plays. You just have to go through them in the game.
Pavelski gets waived after winning the last offensive zone face-off, but a guy that's 58.3% steps in against Kyle Turris. And Turris wins it. Karlsson around. Chiasson couldn't catch up to that. Another push here by the top line of the Sharks. Thornton, Pavelski, and Karlsson up onto the ledge and then knocked in front. And Karlsson skates away with it. The Senators, Karlsson, but turned over at center. Back in Pavelski, and he lost an edge. Here comes Erik Karlsson over the line. Hits the trailer. Played in front and knocked away by Vlasic. And turning back, 4 Sharks through center. Here they come on a 3-on-1 and a penalty behind the play. It's going to get wiped out as Chiasson was pulled down by Justin Braun. And what a turn of events that is, with a scoring chance unfolding for San Jose. They take a penalty.
Well, it's a bad play by Justin Braun. 4-on-1 situation as Stone tries to find Chiasson on the back door. Now, Sharks off to the races. You can see Braun just try and get in the lane of Chiasson, but even that, if you don't catch up in the play, you've got a 3-on-1 opportunity at the net and an opportunity to potentially make a 3-1 situation for yourself after the second period. That's just a poor decision by Braun through the neutral zone, and now the Senators have an opportunity to go on the power play and even the score.
Senators 1 for 3 against the Sharks in California. They were 1 for 5 against the Leafs on Saturday night, their first power play of the game. Legwand unable to control the faceoff. Karlsson can't hold it in as Marleau sends it down into the Ottawa zone. Mike Hoffman scored the power play goal against San Jose, his only power play marker of the year. Here's Zibanejad dancing in. It'll be a shot by Ryan, and the rebound whipped on by Legwand on the bouncing puck. Legwand, who continues to lead the team in power play goals. Zibanejad leads it for Legwand. Ryan lurking in front. Here's Karlsson walking in, and he fired it. May have glanced off a leg wide, and then it gets past Weirkoch and out. And look out. Possible break here. Couture in, and that went off Weirkoch wide. Couture up with it again in a penalty-killing role with Marleau.
And a averted disaster on that play as Couture tried to throw it back door, and Weirkoch was lucky it hit him.
Now Wingels and Pavelski. Here's Pavelski centering it. Comes all the way outside the line and played back in offside.
Erik Karlsson gets a grade A opportunity on the power plays. Through the seam, he steps right down, and Antti Niemi gets enough of it with the left arm to send that over top of the net. And here's a Logan Couture opportunity as Weirkoch dove across to try and keep that in. Weirkoch with a good defensive play and hits his left leg and slides wide as Couture was looking for the backdoor opportunity. Good recovery by Patrick Weirkoch.
Hoffman and Ceci now are the point men. Moved in by Turris. Chiasson goes to the front of the net. Stone back to the point. And now Turris sends it to the net, deflected wide. Hoffman moves up. Far corner, Turris. Chiasson now behind the net, reaching for it. Unable to come up with it, and another possible break here for San Jose, shorthanded. A pass for Smith. Broken up by Ceci. Hoffman takes over. He'll start back. Over the line, Turris. Watched by Pavelski. Here's Chiasson. Knocked off knee stick. Swung around to the point. Cody Ceci. Nice move on Melker Karlsson. That pass eluding Chiasson. Loose puck for Braun out of the box. And the Senators unable to equalize with their first power play of the night. Down to 80 seconds remaining here in the second.
Turris through the middle. Nice little redirection on the high slot that just eludes Antti Niemi. Turris knows that he has Stone. And there's a lot of teams that try to work that through the power play now because it changes the angle and it's very tough to defend. It just slides to the right of Antti Niemi and goes wide, but San Jose was just as dangerous on that penalty kill too, and Senators didn't give one up, but they didn't get one either.
Jonas Hertl dropping it back to the point, and now a return for Hertl. In behind the goal, jostled by Pajot, stays with him. Here in the final minute of the second period. 2 in a 30-second span have the Sharks in front. Marleau after it, Couture has it. Now it'll be played back to the point and cut off there. Here comes Condra and Lazar with Pajot. 3-on-2, pass, slowed up in front. Lazar stopped. Niemi down, and it'll come back to the point. Borowiecki side of the net. Pajot swindled it on net, and it's played over the glass. And they're ruling deflected, so no penalty. And last minute burst here by that Pajot line. Comes close to the equalizer.
All starts in the defensive zone now. Little draw play because Carlson had jumped into the play to create odd man rush, and you could see just a garage sale in front. Burns tries to get it out. Borowiecki tries to throw it back door. Antiniemi fights off two opportunities by Eric Condra. Pajot slides out to that back door, and Borowiecki hits him. The San Jose Sharks escape a goal against here in the final seconds of the second period.
Clock draining here as Borowiecki plays it off Braun deep. And that's going to do it. The shot's 12-10 here in the second for the Sharks. And the difference, the 2 goals in 30 seconds. Pavelski with his 35th, Tierney with his 3rd. And after 40 minutes here in Ottawa, it's 2-1 Sharks as we send it back to James Duthie.
Thank you, Chris. The panel standing by. More on that half-a-minute meltdown. Those 2 goals 30 seconds apart that are the difference in the hockey game so far. And hey, the Leafs are losing, which is hardly an uber fact. We'll show you all the highlights from around the NHL next.
This was Brent Burns arriving at the game. No socks in our -12 weather. Backpack with maybe 1 or 2 of the animals he has in his private zoo, but he chipped in for an assist on the power play goal to tie it. 30 seconds later, Chris Tierney gives San Jose the lead. It's 2-1 after 2 periods of play. The summary brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Second periods, they haven't been loving it of late in Ottawa. That's 7 goals against in the last 3 second periods, Jamie.
Well, there have been those lapses, and that led to Coach Dave Cameron last game against the Toronto Maple Leafs having the meltdown on the bench, but you get away from the structure of your game. You know that San Jose is going to create some chances because they have speed and they shoot off the rush, but the Senators in the first period, as I pointed out, did a terrific job of gaining body position, helping out strength in numbers, that 5-5-5 situation all over the ice, but they got away from that in the second period, and it cost them 2 quick goals. And it almost cost another meltdown on the bench as Dave Cameron delivered a different type of message, but told them to relax and play. And we'll see how the third period plays out after a regroup in between the second and third.
So they trailed the Boston Bruins by 1 in the standings. They trailed the Sharks by 1 on the scoreboard here. With just under 20 minutes remaining, Mafat and Carlson, the tourist line up front. There's Melker Carlson after it, along with Joe Thornton for the Sharks to Pavelski. And back to the point. This shot hits the skate. Melker Carlson's on it as the Sharks go to the attack early. 10 games left for San Jose, and they may need all 10 if they're going to continue their playoff streak, which stands at 10 consecutive years. Turris off the boards, and we have play being halted.
I think the linesman called the high stick.
We'll join host Ian Mendez and Gord Wilson after every home game for All Access, presented by Bell, live on the Sens website and mobile app. And a long discussion to decide where this face-off should be, and it looks like it's coming outside the Ottawa line.
We're talking about a high stick or potential high stick play. It looked like Eric Carlson popped it out right there, but Joe Thornton was waving at it as well. So maybe that's what the debate was. And they decided, you know what, let's just start over and go to center ice, and we'll call it even.
So Zibanejad checks in up against Logan Couture. Marleau and Hurdle, the wingers for the Sharks. Hoffman and Ryan for the Senators, who had some looks in the first period. Maybe not as many in the second. There's Hoffman, can't get it out. It'll be kept in by Hurdle. His shot doesn't get through, and now it's played wide by Marleau. CC battles, tied up by Hurdle. Marleau arrives on the scene, trying to pry the puck loose along the boards. Does come free, and Hurdle's got it. He swings it across. Gets it back again. Now Couture leans on it. Couture centers it, got past Marleau. And finally the Senators are out. It'll be Hoffman sending it in. Deflecting to Niemi. Hoffman centers. Back to Greiber. Shot doesn't get through. It was blocked by Hertl and played out.
Opportunity. Greiber just tries to force that towards the net. Hits a leg and comes out. But the Senators have to continue to try and push this pace up here in the third period to get back into the game.
Here's Pajot. 4 shots. Make it 5 now in the game. So he leads all shooters in that department. Condra goes after it. Tommy Wingle's there to chip it out. Mentioned Greiber has not scored a goal in the last 82 games. That's a full regular season of work without scoring.
Here's the injury to Zach Smith back on December 13th in Boston. A harmless play. Brad Marchand runs into him, but it's just an unfortunate collision that you can see hurts his wrist, and it's been a long road back for him to get back into game shape. And obviously, maybe it's been expedited a little bit because of the injury issues right now to McCulloch and Pumpel. But Smith comes back into the lineup and pointed out the big hit. Brent Burns had on him on the wall, and that's the type of stuff in practice you can take hits, you can give them out, but it's not with the ferociousness of a regular season game. And so he gets fled back in the lineup. He's played 8:05 after 2 periods. Going to get some looks here in the third period as Coach Dave Cameron pushes around his lineup.
Offense, its own face-off. Pocket pass, scores! Mika Zibanejad with the beauty, and the game is tied.
This is an unreal individual play here by Mika Zibanejad. He's going to get underneath the stick of Chris Tierney. Hops in the middle. You see a soft play by Tierney trying to get in front that puck. Zibanejad comes right from underneath. It's underneath the stick and then elevates it as Antti Niemi tries to take away that lower part of the net. Puck's just going to get right down, a little redirection, but there, Zibanejad just the quick lift play and then the chip short side underneath the bar. Gets the Senators back into this game at 2-2 and gets some momentum going in the crowd. The life is back in this building.
Came into the game without a goal in his last 8. He's double dipped here tonight. Ryan and Hoffman draw the assists at 2:19. Here's a chance the other way. And a paddle down stop by Hammond off Carlson. Sharks nearly reply in a hurry. That one off the glove of Hammond. Knocked down in front of the net. So a push back from San Jose, and now it's a lead pass from Stone to Erik Karlsson, chipped away from him. Chiasson stopped the rush at center. Erik Karlsson to the right side. It doesn't reach Turris. And they'll reorganize at center 3 minutes into the third. Game tied. Here comes Curtis Lazar. His shot, and that's into the glove of Niemi, and he'll hold on.
Andrew Hammond with a couple big opportunity saves here. Joe Thornton's going to saucer it right through the middle. And Hammond with the paddle down save on Karlsson. And then a second opportunity, just a floater that redirects off a body in front. Hammond gets enough of it to keep it out, but this is some great work by the goaltender for the Senators to keep this at 2-2, especially after they've just scored a big goal to get back into it. A couple key saves.
Second 2-goal game of the year for Zibanejad, who had a 4-point night against Vancouver. Loose in front, and a chance for John Scott on the doorstep.
John Scott getting more ice time than he's been averaging all season long.
Now Pajot is back. He'll drop to Lazar. Sends it to the to the side. Post call, Condra. And that one hopped on Ceci and out to center, but the Senators come close to regaining the lead.
Not sure the coaches are loving the pace here and exchanging chances at both ends, but players are certainly opening it up here a little bit to see if they can get ahead in this game.
Zibanejad back on the prowl again. Puck was turned over there. Ryan knocked down Mueller. Back the other way. Borowiecki in his own zone, hit by Couture, and Greiber has it. A pass ahead, Ryan unable to take it cleanly. Slides down into the Shark zone, and Matt Irwin back to retrieve. Under duress, knocked off the puck center. Zibanejad stopped. Loose in front again. Oh, Zibanejad that close to the hat-trick goal. Back the other way comes Couture. Here's Logan Couture right on. Rebound gathered back in by Hammond. And in 4:29 of the third, plenty of chances at either end.
Pajot and Eric Condra, a little give and go. Puck towards the net. Big rebound as it just eludes Antoniemi on the back door. A quality scoring chance. And then Bobby Ryan, physical on Irwin. Hoffman with a nice little spinorama play to find Zibanejad out front. As he knows he has the short side option. Zibanejad unable to convert as Antoniemi gets into position, but that's some good offensive zone work here by the Senators.
Ryan with 2 assists in the game, including the 200th helper of his career. Now a pass ahead, looking for Zach Smith. Gets down first, centered, and Legwand unable to redirect that. Back the other way with speed, it's Tierney. Unable to bust through, and Zach Smith turns back. Pass at the line, Greening gets it in, keeps going. Here's Greening curling it back, point, Carlson shot is blocked. Greening after it, and redirects it back to Mathot at center. Quick change there by the fourth line, it's dumped back in, and Chiasson in pursuit of the puck, comes up with it. Alex Chiasson spikes it to the line, Carlson with a shot. And the rebound collected by Thornton. Working his way out to center. There's Brendan Dillon sending it in, and Erik Karlsson up for Chiasson. Striding back into the Shark zone, dropped for Stone. Shot, rebound, and Chiasson unable to catch that. Weirkoff moves up. Chiasson locked up in front of the net with Niemi. Took a while to unlock. In front, Niemi, huge stop on Chiasson on the doorstep. Alex Chiasson's been all over it.
He certainly had plenty of opportunities on this line, filling in for Milan Michalek. He's been all around it, just unable to convert. Chiasson down the wall. Now Stone's going to throw it towards the net. Big rebound off the right pad. He ends up on top of Antoniemi. They fight it off, but puck's going to come back wide. Stone's going to pop it wide. Again, the redirection and an outstanding save by Antoniemi with the left pad on robbing Chiasson. But that's just great work in front by Chiasson. A little tough luck as he's struggled to find the back of the net lately, but not for a lack of creating opportunity.
8 shots already for the Senators here in the third period. They have the tying goal. And now pushing to take the lead, but San Jose's had a look or two in this third period as well.
The Senators have come out knowing that the playoffs are on their stick and an opportunity to get into that race. You win a period, you can get there.
There's Marleau. Patrick Marleau trying to twist away from Patrick Weirkoff. Hands it off, a shot goes off a leg, and now it'll be Couture taking over to the point and deflected by Condra. Pass Dillon down the ice, and that's an icing call against Ottawa on the redirect by Condra.
Mike Hoffman's going to make a terrific play here. Little spinorama play. He knows that Zibanejad is available on that short side. Overskates it and throws it back, creating some deception. You see Coach Dave Cameron having some positive reinforcement for the winger as he's been up and down the lineup a little bit. And sometimes you have to press the buttons of players and challenge them individually. A lot of times at this level it's with ice time, and the message is loud and clear as he's been real strong tonight for the Senators.
Constant message to 68 has been to get to the net
and take care of his own zone. And there's been a couple plays where he's at least been deep and trying to create turnovers.
Back in come the Sharks. It's Thornton. To the point, Mueller had trouble with it and lost it. Nearly got caught, but Brent Burns comes back across to intercept for San Jose. Burns up the wall, inside the line, and Erik Karlsson will take over. Right wing pass for Ryan. Off his stick. Burns again. Burns into the middle. Tierney couldn't take it. And it's flipped back, knocked with a high stick. Hoffman plays it, and that's going to draw a whistle. 7:24 into what's been an open third period of play, and a tying goal from Mika Zibanejad here in Ottawa. Visit the Senators' Facebook page after every win to vote on the Marks Man of the Match. Mika Zibanejad will be a leading candidate here tonight. A couple of goals for Zibanejad, 18 on the year. He has scored 14 of them here at home.
Well, he's played very well as of late during this streak, and he's somebody that has always left people wanting a little bit more from him, and he seems to be getting it here at 21 years of age.
Here comes Carlson in. Couldn't pull the trigger on the shot against Justin Braun. A thought at center. Zibanejad playing it to the right side for Ryan. Ryan knocking it away from Hurdle, but here comes Marleau. 35 years of age, off-wing shot, stop from Hammond. Wasn't sure about the rebound as he gets crashed into. And Couture unpiles, and Hammond looks like he may be shaken up. Slow to get up, to be sure. And he felt the effects of that collision.
It was a big collision. It's a great shot here by Marleau, just down the wall. Hammond gets enough of it, keeps it in front, and Couture diving at the last second on that loose puck. Has the collision with the starting goaltender, and that's the last thing they need right now. You see his right leg get jammed up, straightened out against the post. And I hope that he's all right. He's getting looked at a little bit. Coach Dave Cameron was not happy, and there you see Chris Driedger, 20 years old, third rounder, 76th overall in 2012 to the Senators. But right there, look at a little twisted turn against the post, and Hammond's a pretty strong guy. He's going to stay in and battle through.
Sharks win the draw. Carlson up with it, knocked away by Pavelski, slammed along the boards, held in by Thornton, and now it comes out, and here comes Dillon back into the zone. Pavelski guides it to the net, loose in front, and a centering play, but Chiasson was there. Away goes Hoffman, got to the red line, and sent it in to get a change.
Andrew Hammond was fighting that one a little bit.
Yes, he
was. Got up pretty slow, a little ginger, trying to fight through it.
And that has to be a concern for the Senators right now. Your backup has never played a minute in the NHL.
He's 20 years old, and we've already got enough goaltenders in sick bay.
Boy, he was down on his knees, got up very slowly, and still looking at his ankles tonight. I think Chris Driedger's going to have to start warming up here.
He is down in the tunnel warming up right now. It could be precautionary just to see if Hammond can fight through this and keep it warm. A lot of times your adrenaline's rolling. You can fight through an injury while the game is still on.
He tried to turn that in front, then Chiasson starts back, gets to the red line, drops it in. Boy, the number of storylines in this remarkable run, and the plot may be thickening here again for the Ottawa Senators.
He's been such a great storyline for the Senators. Andrew Hammond, and certainly fighting through something right now.
Legwand back to Ceci. Ceci advances in again, flips it deep. Legwand after it against Braun, crashed in there. Unable to come up with the puck. And out comes Barclay Goodrow. Over North Bay Battalion play, we understand a full busload of Battalion fans have made the trip from North Bay here to Ottawa to cheer on a 5-year member of the Battalion as we keep our eye on Andrew Hammond. And while the play was going up ice, he was continuing to try and get comfortable after that collision with Couture.
Well, you can certainly tell that he's a little ginger on the play, and Chris Driedger gets the call, and just to go down and loosen up in case in a TV timeout, he's going to come and probably get reassessed by the trainers at the bench and have a little bit more time to kind of go through the process.
Puck sent ahead for Condrup, stopped up by Irwin at center ice. Erik Karlsson for Mathot. Up off Pajot and in. Condrup first man on it. Took a bump along the boards. Sharks move it and start back. Patrick Marleau is starting to look dangerous here as this game is worn on. Erik Karlsson chips it around. Condro will play it back to him. Now Mathot's got a lane. He's out to the red line and in. And they'll change in behind him. 9 minutes, 9 seconds remaining here in the third period. Mika Zibanejad has equalized. Bobby Ryan will spin it in on the backhand, and there goes Zibanejad after it. Falls down behind the net, but stays with the puck. Ryan in to help out. He'll take over. Back for Zibanejad. That was intercepted and played to center. Pavelski finds the puck and drops it into the Ottawa zone. Borowiecki around, drive up. Got it past Melker Karlsson, and away goes Hoffman. Hoffman sends it in and gets a change.
The challenge right now, if you're the Ottawa Senators, you have to play a cautious game, but you're still looking for that win, obviously. This is where you can't sit back and allow just kind of a chess match. You still have to be very aggressive on pucks all over the ice.
Here's Tierney centering it all the way back. Classic shot. That's off a skate, and it will come out. And Chiasson shakes the left skate in a little discomfort as the bees start to buzz there. Turris has some speed. Kyle Turris back to the attack. Wide right flank. Picked out by Niemi. Cece's got a shot. Another one scores! Deflected in front, and it is Alex Chiasson.
But Chris, we talked about Chiasson being inserted into that line in the absence of Milan Michalek and getting some good looks with the puck. Kyle Turris with some speed down the wall. Here's just throw it towards the net. Look for a favorable rebound. Cece, good shot from the point. Able to find it through the net, but it's Chiasson with a nice little redirection. His Braun is underneath the stick, but he fights to get in that position. The overhead, you can see Niemi, it eludes him on that short side, kind of underneath the arm and the glove. Chiasson gets rewarded with some real good work as he's done a terrific job in this game, filling in, as I mentioned, for the injured Milan Michalek.
Dave Cameron was asked this morning, what does he have to do to contribute? The answer was short, and it was prophetic. Get to the net.
Yeah. Be big, get to the net, be physical, and create havoc. And he's been able to do that. Right now, he's placed the Senators in a pretty good position here with 7.5 minutes left in the third.
Oh, that one bounced up and hit Hammond in the mass. So Chiasson with the redirect, Stone and Cece the assist. And here they come again. Zach Smith sends it toward the net. And flipped out by the Sharks. Big third period. Now can they lock it down?
Well, you lock it down by playing the same way, aggressive all over the ice. You don't sit back and allow the Sharks to continue to try and push the pace and generate scoring chances. Limit their time and space.
Shots 11-6 here in the third period. Back in comes San Jose. A drop pass doesn't work. And away goes Pajot. It's a 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Karlsson calls for it. Scores! Karlsson back to Pajot, and it's 4-2.
Well, Joe Thornton's going to fall at the blue line. Puck's going to pop out. Dylan tries to put it on a tee for him. He falls. Now it's a 2-on-1, but Erik Karlsson, such a great skater. He's going to make it a 3-on-1. Little give and go with Pajot. Pajot finishes it off between the wickets of Antti Niemi. But it's because Joe Thornton falls down on the offensive zone on the blue line. And Karlsson's such a great skater. He makes that a 3-on-1 situation, and the Senators are in terrific shape with just over 6.5 minutes, and we could be slightly delayed as it looks like a hamburger has made its way onto the ice.
40th assist of the year for Erik Karlsson. Fans being warned that any more hamburgers on the ice could lead to a delay of game penalty.
They're not going to skate it over to Curtis Lazar, are they? Andrew Hammond, we got to keep an eye on him still as he.
I think Curtis heard you.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who was maybe chirping a little bit as he had a little post-game snack a couple games back. And that led to a nice shot here that eluded James Reimer the other night against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and was teased by his teammates that that was his first goal from outside the blue paint on a goaltender.
Pajot with his 6th goal of the year from Karlsson, a minute 12 after the go-ahead goal. A 3-goal third-period explosion by the Senators. All 6 Pajot goals this year come at home. Here comes Ryan. Centers across. Mika Zibanejad after him. Has to be dispiriting for the Sharks, who can't afford any more defeats as their playoff run in serious jeopardy. Under 6 left here. Senators trying to run the record to 10-1-1 in March, trying to win their 9th consecutive at home and their 7th consecutive game overall. Mueller and Burns advance. Here comes Brent Burns over the line. Burns with a great move and a one-hand shovel shot. Stopped by Hammond. Puck to the side of the net, and Hammond's going to pounce on that as Brent Burns tries to cut into this Ottawa lead as Alex Chiasson and Jean-Gabriel Pajot make it 4-2 Ottawa.
You got to look back to the second period, and I said to everyone, keep an eye on this save. That could be a TSN turning point. At 2-1, the Sharks are up. Joe Thornton puts it on a tee for Pavelski, and Andrew Hammond makes an outstanding save at that point. That would have made it 3-1 and in a big hill to climb for the Senators to get back into it. But Hammond with that save at 2-1 allowed the Senators to stay within striking distance, and we've seen what they've been able to do here in the third period.
One of the strengths of his game in this remarkable run is his stinginess in the third period. He has allowed only 5 third-period goals in his 15 starts. That puck picked off at the line and then intercepted by Stone to get it back. Turris at center, and now Stone will drop it in. Andrew Hammond trying to become the first to record a point in his first 15 game starts in the NHL.
This is great work here by Eric Condra on the forecheck. Good stick positioning, relentless, as I talked about time and space, and this line out here creating a buzz again for the Ottawa Senators.
This is when 5-5-5 is so important. The Dave Cameron mantra, 5 men in each zone together. As they try and shut down San Jose for the final 4 minutes and change. Hurdle unable to reach it. Pajot worked it to the line, but not out. Couture swinging across. Now Method up ahead. Pajot hands it off. Condra digging in. Here's Condra, bad angle, backhand. Stopped by Niemi. 4:01 to go. That close to grabbing 8th spot in the East. Canadian Tire Senators Hockey on TSN is brought to you by Bell. Hockey just got better. By Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Ottawa Senators. And by Scotiabank. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank. The 16-game run at 14-1-1. The best in the history of the Ottawa Senators. The best in the National Hockey League this year. And now trying to make it 15-1-1. Under 4 minutes to go. Third period. And a 2-goal Senator lead. Ryan picks it up. Going in. Swing it across, and Vlasic broke it up. As Ryan tried to get it over to Mike Hoffman in front. Ryan again. Centers. Jimmy Hoffman. Applause. And that fills Zibanejad in front. And he's shaken up.
That was a laser beam, and yeah, he's in some distress as he skates to the bench right now.
Back the other way, a stop by Hammond, and Mika Zibanejad in some trouble. The offensive star of this game ends up getting hit by friendly fire.
Hoffman skated right into that and hammered it away. Zibanejad creating a screen in front, and he jumps into position, creates a little havoc there, and Hoffman gets all of it. You could see, looked like it caught his right wrist, and he's certainly in some distress as he heads right to the dressing room, not staying on the bench. So we'll have to monitor that, as he's been outstanding for the Senators during this run.
Clearly in distress, so that's something to monitor. Couple of chances to really ice this, and now 2-on-1. Turris empty net, and Turris off the crossbar. 5 empty net goals on the year. Had a chance at another, and there's the reaction.
David Legwand, the look at his face, having a little fun with him. Turris frustrated with the play. A little saucer play over by Turris, and it just rolls off his stick at the last second. And checking the cue, not happy with it, but it's an unselfish play by David Legwand to put it on a tee for Turris, and just unable to convert.
Kind of a funny story about the empty netter against Toronto the other night. Niemi back in, was headed off, and he is going off even with the Sharks just getting control at center. So the extra attacker on. 3 minutes to go as the Sharks try and push back here. Need one to get within one. Vlasic to the side. There's Pavelski in behind. He's trying to swing it in front, denied by Mathot. And Stone able to play it up off the glass and out.
Good defensive work by Mark Stone to get into position and then chip it out off the glass to relieve pressure.
And that from the Sharks side of center is an icing call against San Jose. Kyle Turris still shaking his head.
Not happy with himself. But here's what happened Saturday night. Buries it in the net.
It's the middle of the net, and there's Erik Karlsson over. Karlsson apparently had told him to start looking for him on the empty netters, jokingly. Turris said he never saw him, and Karlsson was giving him the business a little bit.
Well,
all in good fun.
It isn't good fun when you're winning. All that type of stuff, that's just great camaraderie. You can enjoy that type of stuff. It's empty netter, meaning that you've iced the game. Lost in all of this is how much fun these guys are having during this run.
Here's Lazar in, works the corner. Hurdle watching him. They just want to keep the puck down at this end of the ice. Condra, Pajot, and Lazar. And that Pajot goal, an enormous one. We're now down to 2 minutes left. This third line doing some great work, taking time off the clock. And out in front, shot Condra, and the glove stop. So they kill some time and generate another scoring chance.
Here's Kyle Turris and Erik Karlsson after this missed opportunity. See Turris frustrated with it himself, and Erik Karlsson's going to come up and give him a little love, maybe a little chirping, having a little fun, maybe saying that's for not finding me the other night. I love that type of stuff, the comments behind the scenes.
Face off down in the Shark zone. Won by Legwand. Legwand taking the spot as Zibanejad, and that's the only negative that could result out of this night against San Jose. If the score holds, the status of Mika Zibanejad, the biggest question. Here's the Molson Canadian game story tonight. The Sharks took the lead in the second, but Zibanejad equalized with his second. And could be more Hamburglar history here tonight.
Well, he's certainly earned it this game, as Andrew Hammond has been outstanding, making a couple key saves at the right time and fighting through a...
Pavelski can't get the shot away again. Net empty. Legwand to center. Flipping it through. Empty net. Mike Hoffman scores. And it's 5-2 as Hoffman has
people have thrown beer cans, though. That's not cool whatsoever. And nice little play by, unselfish play by David Legwand to find Mike Hoffman for the empty netter. He scores his 26th on the season. Pretty happy. He's been very effective in this game, Mike Hoffman, showing his speed. The ground crew here looking to clean up the debris.
Not sure how many warnings the Senator fans will get before a penalty's assessed.
The Hamburglar is
He started all this.
He did start all of this, but I don't think anybody's complaining at the record he's throwing around. After this game, he's going to be 14-0-1. Pretty outstanding numbers. A great start to a career that 6 weeks ago he wasn't a household name whatsoever.
Well, they said that sweep in California galvanized the team, gave them hope. Andrew Hammond certainly gave them hope. It'll be his 9th consecutive win. Dave Cameron's got to like the way this team responded here in the third. But again, the only question now is what's the status of Mika Zibanejad?
Yeah, you don't want to run into injuries. Obviously, you can't predict that, but Zibanejad, who's played so well, you're hoping it's maybe just a little bit of a bruise as he took a real hard shot from Mike Hoffman.
Get a day off. They'll practice Wednesday. Coach said a short practice Wednesday, but a much-needed one. And then Thursday, arguably the best team in the National Hockey League will be the visitor, the New York Rangers.
Yeah, they're flying. There's a team that's had some resiliency, losing Henrik Lundqvist, but Cam Talbot has stepped in and done an outstanding job. So it will be a big test for the Senators to continue to climb the standings.
Final minute here. Countdown on. Puck rolled the length of the ice. Fresh troops on for what might be the last shift of the game. November 27th, the last time the Ottawa Senators were in the top 8. Converse pass for Lazar, broken up. Turn back, pass for Hurdle doesn't work. Nieto reaches for it, Kreider there. Slick outlet for Pajot, back the other way. Dozen seconds to go. 116 days out of the top 8 as Niemi makes the stop and holds on.
This line just doesn't quit. This Pajot line with Condra and Lazar having a lot of fun out there, but generating chances, and it's all just because they work together. You're under a minute, maybe just want to dump that in, but no. Take an opportunity, cycle back, and move the puck around. Condra just takes some ice for himself and forces Niemi to make a real good save. And here's another opportunity here. The Senators are feeling pretty good about their game, and San Jose Sharks just trying to get out of here at this point.
Early in the second, Niemi had to make some great stops to... They were going to say the clock is wound down, and it is in the books. Top 8. They have passed the Boston Bruins and are now 8th in the Eastern Conference as the Ottawa Senators have points in 16 of their last 17 games.
The Hamburgers rain down.
Time for our Molson Canadian 3 stars. Mika Zibanejad had an exceptional night. The first 2 goals, the second keying the 4-goal uprising in the third. Andrew Hammond does it again. Another clean slate in the third period. Just 5 goals against in the third period all year as part of the 3 stars here tonight. So they have climbed the mountain to get back into the playoffs as the Hamburglar fever continues in Ottawa. So long from the nation's capital. SportsCenter is now.